Good evening and welcome to Northbeat. I'm Shannon Scott. We begin tonight in Hay River, Northwest Territories, where James Colosso has been sentenced to life in prison for the murder of an 18-year-old woman in 2020. He also now knows how long he'll have to wait before he's eligible to apply for parole. The CBC's Carla Ulrich was in court when the sentence was handed down.
Kruger's family was mostly quiet but did show some emotion during the sentencing. Colosso mostly sat stone-faced during the 40-minute proceeding but did nod when his sentence was read. He also put his head in his hands when Smallwood recalled the events the night Kruger died. The Hay River man pleaded guilty last year to the second-degree murder of 18-year-old May Kruger. Colosso fatally stabbed her after she tried to end their brief relationship. In her decision, Justice Shannon Smallwood said Colosso must submit a DNA sample for forensic analysis, and he'll be prohibited to own a firearm starting today until 20 years after his imprisonment ends. He's also ordered to have no contact with several of Kruger's family members. Smallwood did give Colosso credit for pleading guilty, therefore avoiding a trial, giving Kruger's family some relief. She also addressed Kruger's family, saying, "A sentence of imprisonment cannot make up for the loss of a loved one. The court cannot undo the harm that has been done." Smallwood said she does hope that the end of the criminal proceedings will help them move forward. Colosso won't be eligible for parole for 13 years. Carla Ulrich, CBC News, Hay River.
With the first two fires of this NWT wildfire season burning in their region, the town of Fort Smith is releasing its after-action review, looking at what happened last year. The report is full of recommendations, ways to do better when wildfires hit. And as Robert Holden reports, the town wants residents to play an important role.
Improving how the town deals with interruptions in water, power, and communication, sharing emergency plans, and training people involved in those emergency plans are just a handful of the recommendations from the after-action review released this week.
I mean, you always look back on things and you see what can we do better all the time. So there's a mail drop going out with the emergency preparedness guide. There's available, and the mail drop just happened today for your emergency kits, what you can do to get ready, emergency preparedness guide. Tomorrow is actually National Wildfire Prevention Days, so you can fire smart your house, that type of thing.
The town wants to get a jump start on the wildfire season and get everyone on the same page. After two evacuations last summer and a wildfire that ripped through nearby forests, Coral says they're not leaving residents out of the planning. People had a chance to speak about the recommendations at a meeting this week.
It was mainly for the town, for people to come out and be able to give their feedback on what they thought went well, maybe what can be improved, and just sometimes just to be able to have their say on what they felt needed to be done.
The ultimate goal is to refresh the town's emergency plan. Coral says that plan will be updated May 15th, and then residents will have another chance to have their say. Coral says she hopes they can roll out the new plan as soon as possible. Robert Holden, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Yukon MLAs wrapped up their spring sitting this week, and some MLAs are questioning whether the confidence and supply agreement between the governing Liberals and the NDP has accomplished enough. Mary Beth Dean reports.
Between the Yukon Party and the governing Liberals reached a fever pitch on Thursday. The Yukon Party stalled third reading of the Health Authority Act and proceeded to vote against it. After question period on Thursday, party leader Curry Dixon stated his intention to vote against the budget. The possibility of that vote triggering an election was not beyond the realm of possibility, as the Yukon NDP brought their dissatisfaction with the government's achievements to question period. Leader Kate White said the Liberals had achieved fewer than half of the promises they made 3 years ago when her party signed the confidence and supply agreement with the Liberals. Still, White says she'd sign a similar agreement in the future. Premier Ranch Pillay says he still supports the priorities laid out in the confidence and supply agreement, and his government will continue the work of moving those forward. Mary Beth Dean, CBC News, Whitehorse.
Nunavut living outside of Iqaluit are reeling from suddenly losing access to Amazon's free shipping. For years, communities have exploited an addressing loophole to get the free delivery. But last month, Canada Post put a stop to it. The CBC's Nick Murray has the details.
Last month, the post office in Rankin Inlet posted this notice. It told customers that any mail with the incorrect address would be returned to sender. That's what stopped Nunavut Mute from getting Amazon's free shipping. What's been happening is Amazon customers have been using fake postal codes to unlock a loophole to get free delivery. Parcels destined for Rankin Inlet, for example, have been addressed with the postal code ending in 0G1, which doesn't exist. Now, all those packages will be returned to sender.
Now we have to figure out another way to stretch our budgets, right? Local stores tends to really inflate prices, and by not having the Amazon free shipping, you're really looking at more food insecurity.
Eachirk says she usually buys Tim Hortons soup on Amazon, which sells for less than $3 a can compared to $6 to $8 in local stores. But when she tried to buy it on Amazon and pay for the shipping, it quoted her $56 for 2 cans. For its part, Amazon couldn't answer why it would even accept orders with incorrect postal codes in the first place.
Cal is one of the places that gets free shipping through Prime, but not all communities, especially those more remote communities.
Now, as for Canada Post, the company tells CBC News that incorrect addressing bogs down the whole system and is simply enforcing a policy that's long existed. Now, there had been speculation on some community Facebook pages that the Northwest Company was actually behind the decision because Canada Post operates in northern stores in several communities. Both Canada Post and the Northwest Company say that's not true and that the Northwest Company had nothing to do with Canada Post cracking down on fake postal codes. Nick Murray, CBC News, Iqaluit.
Well, Sunday is Red Dress Day, a day to honor the memories of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. In Manitoba, a school is hoping to bring understanding and awareness with another symbol. Zabina Ahmed has that story.
Honoring each woman with a song. There are almost 2,000 faceless dolls on display at Selkirk's High School. Caitlin Schick is the teacher behind the project.
Some of them have red dresses, some of them have handprints over their mouth. I think a lot of them wanted to be colorful and commemorate these women that went missing and think about what kind of hair they had. You know, did they have gray hair? Were they older? Were they younger? What did they wear when they went missing?
The Faceless Dolls project started at the school 5 years ago. Students and teachers get together to create each doll. Schick says it helps students understand the national crisis.
I think it gives a great platform for talking about why these women are missing. Why are they not here? And why don't they have faces? We had conversations about what was the purpose of having a faceless doll. So a lot of them have gone missing. We don't know who they are.
17-year-old Mackenzie Serger helped make the dolls. Her mother is Métis and her dad is First Nations. She says this project is close to her heart.
To me, it's really important. I had family in residential schools, and I did have some family a while down the line that were like missing or murdered, like Indigenous women especially. And it's just really nice to see the fact that some of those like people can be represented through these dolls that we made in the school.
16-year-old Caroline Roth is an international student from Germany. She moved to Manitoba last year.
It's part of the history of Canada, so it's very important to remind to it.
Schick says they plan to keep the display at the school permanently because they want to bring year-round awareness. Zabina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
An all-Inuit youth committee is working to help promote positive sexual health. Paktuttit Inuit Women of Canada is selecting youth from across the country. It's aimed to help fight shame and stigma. The group will create content promoting positive sexual health.
Yeah, because right now I don't think there's a lot of dedicated spaces available for youth to talk about sexual health. So we just want youth to feel supported and reassured by Paktuttit and with other Inuit youth on the committee to create like a strong voice for youth to shape resources, like I said, and tools that'll be shared within their communities.
It's called Inasat Kamatit, and youth will share their personal experiences and insight. Paktuttit will use the data to help inform positive sexual health youth workshops held next year. The idea is to educate others by using tools like social media, brochures, and posters. The Nunavut Quest is adding a permanent event to its annual dog sled race. a beauty pageant. This year was the first time Miss Nunavut Quest was held in the host community, and it was a hit. 31 participants registered from all over the Kikataluk region. The pageant's organizer says the event shows the beauty of Inuit culture and makes space for women.
I'm very proud of this. I wanted to empower women. I'm proud that we were able to incorporate Inuit traditional culture as well, and I hope to continue organizing more events like this.
Erin Nunuk of Pond Inlet was crowned queen. She won $3,000 in cash along with the Quest crown. Kaunak says she's already looking forward to the second annual Miss Nunavut Quest pageant in Igloolik.
Hi, I'm Vanessa.
Vanessa likes gymnastics. She loves soccer. She loves to ride her bike. She loves to stay at the park as long as she can. She shows me every day that she can do anything she puts her mind to. The War Amps is able to provide Vanessa with the devices and support that she needs because of the generosity of the public. Nothing will stop her. Any help that she ever needs is right there because of your generosity.
Thank you.
Tēnā kai muksak palilau ta aula ina le po kugyang mulu amala kok biu ya mo kinga liwaling mulu pangolo asyang miu muna toy mo ina daile ta pang kai muksak palilau smo mo tai ma buat taling ni pilari yulak smo Inuit ami chalu walang mo ta.
When we see Team Canada on the world stage, we're witnessing pure greatness. What we don't see is their struggle. We don't see Maggie McNeil navigating her anxiety, Shea Gilgis-Alexander getting cut from his high school team, or Ellie Black hearing she's just too old to compete. What we don't see makes us who we are. We're all bravely facing the odds in our lives, and our bravery is our victory.
Everyone listen up.
Bursting with labor.
All these guys 21?
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Owning an NHL team.
Penguins had us review your offer, and it looks good.
Wow. Get me on the phone with Cops Coliseum. Tell them I want to buy it.
Police have arrested 3 men in the death of a prominent BC Sikh activist. They're accused of shooting Hardeep Singh Nijor outside a temple in Surrey last June. The murder on Canadian soil led to a major diplomatic rift between Canada and India. The CBC's Kate McKenna has more.
Today we are here to announce significant developments about the investigation into the murder of Hardeep Singh Nijor.
Nearly a year after the death of Sikh separatist Hardeep Singh Nijor, 3 arrests. Karanpreet Singh, Kamalpreet Singh, and Karan Brar are facing conspiracy and first-degree murder charges. But the RCMP says the investigation isn't over.
There are separate and distinct investigations ongoing into these matters, certainly not limited to the involvement of the people arrested today. And these efforts include investigating connections to the government of India.
The 45-year-old man was shot dead last June. Sources tell CBC News the men arrested today were part of an alleged hit squad. They're all Indian nationals. At least 2 came to Canada on student visas. Sources say police are also investigating possible links to 3 other killings on Canadian soil. His family and associates were told this morning.
They're a bit relieved, and as in that there's some progress made and some arrests made at this moment. It's very emotional as well, losing your father in a violent way that they did, and losing your husband or your son for their elderly parents. So there's some relief, but there's a lot of questions still.
Many of those questions around India's involvement.
Mr. Speaker, today I'm rising to inform the House of an extremely serious matter.
Last September, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made international news when he accused India of being involved in the assassination.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
The Indian government has denied it ordered extrajudicial killings. The country's foreign minister has called the allegation absurd. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
The inquiry into foreign interference released its initial report today. The commissioner says she found interference did happen, but adds that it did not change the outcome of the past 2 federal elections. However, there appear to be 2 examples of ridings that could have been affected. Ashley Burke has those details.
After reviewing top secret intelligence and the testimony of dozens of witnesses, the commissioner of the public inquiry said foreign interference did occur in Canada's past 2 elections, but
our system remains sound.
Marie-Josée Ugg says the overall outcome of the elections were not altered.
Nor did this foreign interference have any impact on which party formed the government in the
But Ugg said foreign interference did have an impact.
Some of these acts have been established while others remain only suspected, are a stain on our electoral process, and impacted the process leading up to the actual vote.
The commissioner pointed to 2 examples of ridings that may have been impacted, including one BC riding in 2021, formerly held by Conservative Kenny Chiu.
There is one riding where this information may have led to the election of one candidate over another, but I cannot say for sure.
Ugg said she also can't exclude the possibility that Beijing interfered in a Liberal nomination race in Don Valley North in 2019, won by Han Dong.
I think the Liberal Party needs to tighten up its rules. I think it's clear through this first report that there are major problems with the way in which Liberals have structured their party.
The public safety minister said the government's reviewing the report to help improve Canada's defenses against foreign adversaries.
Canada has robust safeguards in place to protect our democracy, and the Government of Canada continuously adjusts these measures to meet the long-standing and continuously evolving threat.
The inquiry's commissioner said that perhaps the greatest harm that Canada suffered was that foreign adversaries accomplished one of their goals, undermining the public's trust in Canadian democracy. The next phase of the inquiry is scheduled for the fall. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Private equity firms buying and owning hospitals is common in the United States. But as lawmakers there investigate them, some researchers here are warning against the profit-focused system. As Christine Birak finds out, what's good for financial returns may not be what's best for patients.
Hours after holding their newborn in a Boston hospital, Sangeeta Rashid was bleeding. Doctors wanted to use a potentially life-saving coil to stop the blood, but the hospital didn't have it due to its unpaid bills. Sangeeta was transferred to another hospital, but
she had another cardiac arrest and they couldn't revive her. It was shocking, I said, well, what exactly happened?
Hospital owners blamed financial woes on low U.S. Medicare payments while paying out millions in dividends. That U.S. hospital is one of hundreds bought with backing from private equity firms, companies that buy other companies and maximize profits for investors. U.S. lawmakers are now investigating whether they're harming patients.
They're cutting costs. We see quality go down. We see hospital-acquired infections go up. We see increasing in falls. We see prices go up. And they're trying to look profitable for resale in 3 to 5 years.
They see them as an opportunity to make money.
Private equity is not buying hospitals here, but as provinces rewrite laws to embrace more for-profit care, firms are investing in nursing homes, long-term care, and beyond.
There are people who are raising red flags, and for good reason.
Studies show private equity-owned care homes had the highest death rates during the pandemic.
At the moment, one single private equity investment firm owns the company that owns 14 of our surgical centers across Canada.
Kensington Capital created ClearPoint Health Network to run 53 operating rooms in centres across Canada. ClearPoint says our mission is centred around patient safety and patient experience. It says it provides 55,000 surgeries per year for public patients to reduce the serious consequences of surgery wait lists. But CBC News found for cataract and knee surgeries, Ontario's paying one of those centres more than double what it pays hospitals.
I don't think that we have really truly explored better ways of doing that cost less and that don't line the pockets of investors.
Scrutiny on private equity in healthcare is increasing, with the U.S. Biden administration recently announcing plans for a public inquiry. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
A new made-in-Canada ride-hailing service launching in Toronto says it can help fix a long-time demand from drivers. It says its payment model is different, meaning better wages. But as Nisha Patel shows us, attracting customers might not be so easy.
Uber and Lyft cars are a common sight on city streets, but this driver is making it known right on his vehicle. He's barely making a living.
Now it's tough. You will get $100. You wait 7 hours, you pick up one customer. That's it.
Gig workers have long been pushing for higher pay from ride-hailing companies, which they say take a big slice of their earnings.
They haven't done a great job of taking care of their workforce.
Canadian Harrison Ammett wants to do things differently with his new app, Hover. Drivers pay $20 a month, and they'll get to keep 100% of their fare, similar to a traditional taxi payment model.
Helping the drivers to earn more and helping riders to save on each ride will completely shift the way that the rideshare industry is actually operating.
But Uber has been around for 15 years and boasts 150 million users worldwide. Lyft has 22 million.
The reality is, when you're up against big multinational companies that are sitting on such a huge source of capital, it's hard to get your foot in the door.
Lyft is also trying to grow its footprint in Canada and says it will soon introduce minimum pay levels for drivers across the country.
That a driver will never, on a weekly basis, make less than 70% of what a rider pays after fees like insurance and tolls.
For Uber's part, it insists most of its drivers are satisfied, though advocates claim the company is not transparent enough about the cut it earns.
I knew something had to change.
At Hover's launch in Toronto, the company is trying to attract drivers who are willing to give it a try.
I feel it's a great idea because that makes me feel be part of the team, be part of the company, instead of just being treated like the other driver.
So it may not be long before there's a third option for ride-hailing hitting the road. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, spring temperatures mean nesting season in the wild. It's also the time when more young animals need rescuing. The CBC's Dave Gilson visits the Alberta Institute for Wildlife Conservation, a clinic taking in animals north of Calgary.
In addition to the wildlife currently under its care, the Institute says it can see a 500% increase in baby birds and animals coming into its clinic between the end of April and mid-June. Staff say they've already received a baby fox, but add patients can range from waterfowl to songbirds and various mammals. Spokesperson Scotty Potter says many that come into their care are orphaned after parents are injured or killed.
That can be due to car accidents, attacks from cats and domestic dogs, anything like even something like a parent bird hitting a barbed wire fence. So these sorts of issues are often the result of human conflict in some way.
They say they appreciate the public's help and recommend people call their wildlife hotline with any questions and concerns. They're also reminding people who spot solitary baby hares this time of year that they are often still under their mother's care and don't need to be rescued. To help with increasing patient care costs, the Institute recently launched its annual Wildlife Baby Shower fundraiser. Dave Gilson, CBC News, near Madden.
Well, China has launched an ambitious mission to the far side of the moon. The The uncrewed spacecraft lifted off today. The nearly 2-month mission aims to retrieve lunar rocks and soil from the side facing away from the Earth. China's the first country to make such an attempt. The plan is for a lander to reach the lunar surface, scoop up rocks and soil using a robotic arm, and transfer those samples back to the orbiter so they can then be carried back to Earth. Well, that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, you can always visit our website, cbc.ca/north. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Shannon Scott. Up next, the Canucks face the Nashville Predators. Vancouver leads that series 3-2, so a win tonight means a move to the next round. Lots of eyes on that game tonight, I'm sure. Have a great weekend. We're going to leave you tonight with a look at the spring weather in and around Yellowknife. It was such a gorgeous day today, and I mean all week. It's just been perfectly stunning out there. Enjoy that as it continues through the weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
We fight the best we can.
Thank you for choosing Plan B.
Tell me what I need to do to save my family.
Please enter your date of travel.
I can't do this anymore.
If you could go back, change things, would you do it?
One of these days, we're gonna have to grow up. But today is not that day.
I don't want us to get older either. Son of a Critch. Watch free on CBC Gem.
Her particular skill set can be helpful to us.
She's a con artist. I need to get off that boat and back to being a full-time detective, and you need to stay out of prison. The best way we do that is to keep our heads down and do as we're told.
So, you want to watch CBC News Explore, a new kind of news channel. Well, here's one way to find us. We're on CBC Gem. Stream anytime for free. CBC News Explore.
Q with Tom Power. Available now on CBC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.